Hello chaps, haven't done a video in a couple of days and I thought I would pick an open challenge. This is unrated, my opponent's rated 1185 and I've played the French and then he's done this weird push, Steinitz attack. Now it's just inviting d5, right? Because now if he captures, I capture back with the c pawn and I have two central pawns and he only has one, plus he has 0 development. So it's a weird way to approach the French. I mean, the normal thing, develop your pawn, right? d4, or bring out one of your knights. But this move, very weird. So he can take en passant, but then he loses all the initiative. Right? Then he's got nothing to show for his first three moves. That's a weird one. So I've just had a nice little run, actually. Oh, by the way, got a funky finger. Yeah, got an infection, probably bacterial infection from chewing on my fingers, sitting there playing chess and stuff like that. Okay, so now we've transposed into the advanced variation. Okay, this is fine. Okay, so normally it'd be that, then that. Okay, so here if you're wanting to learn the French, wanting to play the French, if the pawn takes at any point, you want to recapture with your bishop, and that's much better for black. If not, we're going to keep putting pressure on this pawn. A lot of beginners will play c3. Okay, so I'm going to develop my knight. Now I've got two attackers on the pawn, got two defenders. So he might bring his bishop out, he might play c3. And my next move is probably going to be queen to b6. Now if the bishop comes out, then it leaves this b pawn undefended, so you have to be aware of that. So we'll do this as like a little introduction to the French defence. What I like about the French defence is a lot of e4 players are expecting e5 to come, yeah, but with e6, really on move 1, as black, you're saying this is my territory now, yeah. I mean, you could say the same for the Caro-Kann or the Pits or King's Indian and all kinds of things. You should know how to play your own opening, but the point is that white doesn't have to get the control over all the openings. I don't know if this is the right move. Maybe but anyway, here we are. Okay, so now he's brought out his other knight. Okay, so he has two defenders on there. Now what this means is that he can't now play c3, which is okay. This is the Nimzowitsch system. But I can now bring in my queen to here, and the only other defender that I think he can add, so now I've got three attackers, right? And it's defended twice, queen and knight. If he brings this out now, then he could lose that pawn. And then if rook to here, my queen would have to sidestep back to here. That's the only issue. Got to be careful not to get trapped. Oh, that's interesting. My first thought is queen b4, check, and that will force the knight to come back, or else the knight will fall. So there, knight goes back. Is there anything gained? Yeah, why not? Knight goes back, and then he's got two defenders on that pawn to my three attackers. However, there can be a trap in this. So let me show you. So say the pawn takes, right? Knight takes, and I think, I can take back with my knight. No, I think we're... Ooh, okay, that's an alternative. That's interesting, man. Okay, I have a safe square here and an escape, so I can't go there. Really good idea to start colouring in your squares, guys. Can't go there because of the bishop, can't go there because of the bishop, can't go there because of the knight. So there is only one square. Now if he plays that, I've got three attackers on that square. 1, 2, 3. So there was something that was warning me about that attack. Also knowing that my opponent had a very easy way out of it. in fact, he found an alternative easy way out of it, with actually pushing c3, funnily enough, with the discovered defence by the queen on the knight. So I've now dropped back here. It's a 20-minute game with no increment. So yeah, this thing on my finger is called like a whitlow. And apparently there's two types. There's one that's associated with herpes simplex virus, and the other one is associated with Staphylococcus bacterium. Now I think this is the bacterial one. Okay, that pawn's now undefended. So he's probably got ideas of a discovered attack, which I could prevent with this. That kind of ruins the whole idea of the French in a way. Now if I take and he takes back, I have to retreat the queen. If I push, it really locks down the whole middle of the board. I have this massive barrier down the middle of the board. Don't know if I want that. Could I play b5 and attack the knight? Then he pushes, then I retreat, pawn could take. Yeah, I don't want him to push, I don't want him to take on there, so I'm going to block it up. Let's play a blocked off game. Okay, so I'm still thinking about b5 making life difficult for this knight, because notice, knights on the edge of the board only have 4 squares to go to at most. I mean, a knight in the corner can only go to 2 squares, which is why a king can trap a knight. Now if he goes here, I've got bishop takes, and if pawn takes, I win the pawn and the central pawn majority, which is a good thing. But I can't do that if I play b5. The knight goes there, pawn takes, and then my pawn's in the way of the queen, you see. So pawn's there. So that won't work. So yeah, back to the story of the zombie finger. It actually looked way, way better than it did earlier on today. The thing is that I had it doused in iodine, as you say in the States, all last night. I'm just going to drop my queen all the way back here now. Right? Never be afraid to put your pieces back on their starting square if it's the best square. It's fine. So he's got lots of pawn action up the queen side now. Yeah, so basically it's reacted a lot and it's swollen and got a lot of gunk inside. I've tried all kinds of home remedies and stuff like that. I'm not somebody who likes to take pharmaceuticals unless it's absolutely necessary. I'm not a big believer in it. But you know, I'm ready to. If it didn't improve, I was ready to get some oral antibiotics, which I don't really like to do. See, if I play b5, and it is tempting to try and kick the knight, but I might kick the knight towards my own side of... Wow, he's very keen, isn't he? Okay, so, pop quiz, where is the best place for the knight to go? If I go here, it's on the edge of the board, and it has no prospects at all. So, that's not very good. All the way back home, yeah, it's not too bad. Maybe around here, I don't know. So, Ben Feingod there. Here, yeah, it blocks off the path for my bishop and my queen, but it could find its way to there. So, I think the alternative is here and here. But then he's on a light square, he can only go to dark squares. Okay, my mind is made up. E7. So this B pawn is a long way from home. This bishop is bad, this bishop is bad, my bishops are bad, everything's bad. Just a bad game. Yeah. But it's really cool, about in the last hour, it started seeping pus itself, which is cool. Makes you feel 5 again. So I think my knight's just going to come to here to release this bishop. Okay, now my instant thought is to push b6, which means that move is wasted. It also means the knight can't come into there, so I'm not going to think too hard about that. We're going to push b6, and we're now going to focus on this side of the board. Some kind of attack would be in order. This pawn is currently defended only by that rook as well, so I might think about developing my bishop to there. I don't know. But look at this knight now. It's rotten. Knights on the rim are dim. My knight could also come to here. That's also an idea. There's a thought. It's a very slow and dull game so far. Kind of advanced my queen and then got shuffled backwards. We've got a completely locked off middle of the board. But you know what? Hey, it's chess. Sometimes you get a boring old game. And sometimes you have to grind it out. Sometimes you have to find something from nothing. Squeeze blood from a stone. So let's start thinking. Think on his time. Think about strategy. Someone reminded me of that in the comments the other day. Because I was talking about using your opponent. What on earth is that about? Okay, well, I'm not going to think too much. I've got a discovered attack by the bishop on the rook. And what was the point of that move? I don't know. Okay, so now I've got thoughts of, I could even bring my knight to there, see, because if bishop takes, I can recapture with my other knight. Putting my knight on the edge of the board. That would be a great idea. But first of all, Kaiser 7 from Italy has to notice that his rook is under attack and has to move it back. So he's moved 1, 2, and he's going to have to move it back again to one of these two squares, right? So 3 rook moves in 3 moves, and he's achieved nothing at all. Alrighty. So it seems as though he hasn't spotted the rook. Now, do I save the knight, like move it to here? If knight takes, I've got queen takes. And trust that he hasn't noticed the rook? Or do I take the rook and lose either the bishop or the knight? And the answer is which is best? Which would leave me in a best situation? Now he's really messed up his kingside defense there. Yeah, he would be capturing towards the center, but that's not too bad. I think I have to take the material. What's more, I could be losing. I would actually be quite happy if he takes my bishop. And the reason is that we've got this great central barrier down the middle of the board. Makes life very difficult for bishops. It doesn't really help knights all that much, but knights are a lot more comfortable in that kind of situation, being short-range fighters. Now he has a choice. What to take? He's taken the knight. I did not want you to take the knight. I wanted you to take the bishop. Right, so I'm up the exchange, which is not a bad start. So I have to do something with my bishop. I only have 2 safe squares because those 2 are out. So I have this and I have this. And this. Which, you never know, could still be a better one. If here, and he decides to push on, I just take. Alright. Let's save the bishop. This knight's still very embarrassed. That horsey's got nowhere to go, apart from back home. So he is taking his time here, you know. He hasn't castled yet. I think this pawn move was rash, very rash. Don't think I would have made that move. Especially from the fact that he blundered his rook, but that's not the point. The point is, where is his king going to go? There's still a lot of material on the board, right? He's taken the knight, back comes the bishop. If he pushes, It's no trouble. I'll open up the G file, probably tuck my king in here and get the big guns out. Big guns. It's hard to get any more firepower against that pawn. But that pawn's kind of doing me a favour. I mean, it's blocking off all of this for white. White can't use that channel now. There's no point putting my bishop there, is there? Nah. So in other news, 1558 had a really good run. Okay, now, first instinct is pawn takes, but in fact I have bishop takes. And that is clearly a better move. Why? Because the bishop in the light go bishop in the French defense very, very often has trouble having any fun whatsoever. Right, so I've now made it a tall pawn for the time being. So it's in the pawn chain. I want to get this knight out. Now something you can do in the French is this move. Tempting the dark squared bishop to swap itself off. Then you get doubled pawns on the h-file, but you get openness on the g-file, which is no bad thing. Okay, what's my opponent's situation like? Dire. It's not good. King's in the middle of the board, hasn't castled, and cannot find shelter anywhere he goes. What's more, he's done a lot of pawn throwing around. Look how far forward all these pawns are. Well, I wasn't expecting that move. Okay. I think I kind of want to open things up. I want to get my bishops into play. That bishop can't go there or there. That is a possibility. Let's hold that over the board and have a look. You can't do this in real physical chess, of course. Someone's sent me a challenge. No. I kind of like this move. I think my bishop might go there and have a sniff around that rook. Let's try that. Let me try that. He's in a very unpleasant situation though. I mean, clearly there's one move that has turned the whole game, which is throwing it out his g-pawn and missing that his rook was on prise. But it happens. I blundered a rook myself today. Okay. Now that's actually spectacularly bad for white. Because remember what my idea was. It's really important not to react and play the first move that comes into your head. My idea was to put my bishop there and attack the rook. But look now, the queen's in the way. Ha ha! Splendid. Don't mind if I do. Do not mind if I do at all. If the queen goes here, for example, I can even throw my other bishop out and hit her again. Now, I'm not going to sing Britney Spears. Nuh-uh. No amount of money. Don't think. Okay, he's in a horrible situation. Really horrible situation. I don't think he's played like 1185, I have to say. You know, sometimes people play worse against stronger opponents. I played better against stronger opponents. I've been looking at some of my recent games. There's I've definitely lost more points against lower rated people in the last few days than I have playing against high rated people. It's just a fact. You know, I've lost 13, 14, 15 point games, which hurts. He is taking his time, which is not a bad thing. Now, the other thing I notice is this pawn is hanging, so I might even choose to put queenie there. And the pawn is hanging since he lost his rook. Now, I didn't notice that. So that's one of the things that you should say. Okay, well, the rook has now disappeared. Look, now you see it, now you don't. Yeah? Okay, so he's moved the queen, possibly with the idea of coming after a pawn. Do you think? So let's think it through. I take the rook, queen taketh the pawn. How do I save my knight and my rook? I don't know. I could put my bishop there, but then he gets to save his skin. Oh, what if I put my knight there? Attack the queen, queen takes. My rook's threatened then, isn't it? Is it worth it? I mean, there's a free rook. So let's think it through. Got plenty of time. That's what you have to do. The more you think, the better chess you play. It's as simple as. Okay. Now if I play something like that, he's got bishop here. We might trade bishops, which is no bad. You know, I'm up the exchange, but I'd like to do better. Is there a solution? Draw my bishop back, defend the pawn. Can I stick my bishop there? Can I do something that attacks the queen and defends that? Not really. I can't see it. Can you see it? I can't see it. Can't see a thing, mate. I mean, I've got knight out there, it attacks the queen, but then queen just takes the pawn. Then I might put my rook here. Maybe that's not too bad. Hang on. Knight there. Knight there. You take that. I take this. No, that's not going to work, is it? Knight here attacks the queen. Queen takes this. Doesn't work at all. Right, I take the rook. Queen takes the pawn. No, I'm going to bail. I'm going to do that. I couldn't see a way out of it. And sometimes the better part of discretion is valor. Discretion is the better part of valor. Right? Sometimes you just have to say, right, I can't see a way through this. I'm not going to try and force it. I'm going to live to fight another day and crack on. And he found a good move. You know, I didn't see that as an option with this threat. But now I do have knight to here, threatening the queen. So let's say he puts his bishop there, right? I play my knight to there. It's not defended where it is there, but the queen can't go there, 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 there or there. Right, so what's she got? 1, 2, 3 squares. Okay, let's do those again. Knight blocks, huh? Curious move, sir. I mean, my first thought is h5, so I'm not going to just throw that in. I have this, also hits the queen. But my bishop's nice there, it means the knight's pinned, right? That actually blocks off the pawn. Do I mind if I block off the pawn? Queen can't hassle my knight. Oh, she could go there. That kind of hassles it. Then I can take the knight and force the queen back off. Then I can get my bishop in this little hole. Well, let's try that. Just for giggles, you know. Knight's still pinned. Queen's got to go somewhere. Oh, yeah, that wasn't very good, was it? Yeah, okay. Now, what do you do when you blunder? All right, all together now. Stop. Stop blundering, for one thing. Okay, I'm going to hit the queen while I have a think. This guy's down to 5 minutes 43, so now I'm thinking, how about using the clock as a weapon? I've got this idea. That's always there. And then the knight, I believe, is trapped because it's got nowhere to go. if I go here and take this, I can't go there because pawn takes, can't go there because pawn takes, can't go there because queen will take. That could be good. My other complaint at the moment is that I can't now castle, which isn't the end of the world. So I think basically, yeah, queen's going to move, and she can't go there. Right, so she's got, or there. So she's got 1, 2, 3, 4. All of those look very, very passive and slow. So I think the queen should go here. Now, what's going to happen then is I'm going to put my queen here, threatening this pawn, and white should retreat the knight. But then I get the pawn anyway, and attack the knight anyway. And then the knight's going to have to move, and it's going to have to move back here. And when it does that, I might go there. For example, pin the knight on the king, threaten this pawn. Now that's not too difficult to figure out, guys, is it? Then I might have ideas of bringing the bishop here and attacking the pinned piece. Depends where the queen goes. Queen should go here. Queen didn't. Queen done wrong. Queen bad. Now if I go there and he pushes that pawn, are we bothered? I can just take it. Nah. Right, throw in that move. 4 minutes, 10 seconds now. I'm putting the pressure on. Very important, if you blunder in life, or in chess, okay, suck it up. Don't go, oh no, I'm such a bad player, I'm so awful, I'm so terrible. Yeah, everybody screws up, it's fine, it happens. I had a game the other day, which is very embarrassing, against a guy from India. I think it was a French, and I was like a piece up, I was like a rook up or something like that, or a bishop up at one point, and I was all over him, and he was down to a minute or so on the clock, and I sent him the little white flag emoji to say, you might as well resign, mate, seriously, mate. I was in a boisterous mood, and he won with a really sneaky little checkmate at the end, with seconds on the clock. So it just goes to show. There are some people out there who... Does he want a castle? I think he might have ideas of castling. It's a thought. But now his knight's in serious doo-doo. Big bad doo-doo. Yeah. Yeah, some people who just have a principle of never resigning. And, you know, when you get a game like that, you understand why. Sometimes it just makes sense. Sometimes you squeeze a win. Material isn't everything. And converting a one position is tough, guys. It's tough blood. I've also got this idea. Depends what he does now. If he castles... So material's actually equal at the moment. So I've lost 2 knights and a pawn in return for a rook and 2 pawns. So numbers wise it's the same, but he's about to lose a knight. Now if you're going to lose a piece, don't bother moving it. Right? You're just wasting a turn. So really the best thing he can do here is probably castle. Or he might come in and attack my rook. Then I have to do that. That's an idea. But he's down to minute 50 now. Very tough. So it's generally a good idea as well when you're playing to line up potential useful moves for the future and check they're not completely stupid. Right, so what's this about? What's this idea? I'm thinking about coming in here. If I come in there, he's got to move the king to one of these 2 squares, and I'm going to cause him some grief. If he goes there, I've got like bishop here and stuff like that. Right? He's got some idea going on down here, but what I'm going to do is I'm going to put the pressure right back on him and say, oh no you don't. So if king goes here, I can take this pawn with a fork on king and knight, yeah? If king goes here, I'm going to play that. I know my opponent's only got 2 moves, and already I've lined up what my responses are going to be. Okay, so now he's got to go here or here, or here. Whichever he does, I might just take the pawn and attack the knight. Let's throw in another check. Make life difficult. If knight takes, pawn takes. Oh no, if knight takes, queen takes. And I think this is big bada boom. Big bada boom. Won by checkmate. Okay. Thank you, good game. Okay, now, let's review. Funny old French defense. Now, what if I'd done this? And then he does this, and then I take and he takes back, I'll get the queen. That might be better, might be better. Okay, but anyway, we get a French advanced variation. All fair enough. Knight up there, knight there, all normal. Normal, normal, normal. And then I decided to try and be clever. And I did say that this move wasn't really winning, but I did it anyway. And he did that. So he just got to develop a pawn for free. But he has a bad knight, and we know that knight remains bad. In fact, I'm not sure it ever really moved from that sorry spot. Okay, so now he's got an idea. He's got an idea of discovered attack, probably. So I put pay to that idea, and we block off the centre of the board. Up comes another pawn. He's a bit pawn happy, this chap, you know. I don't think I'd have done that. I don't think there's much reason for it. You know, is my queen now in a better position? Probably, you know. Was my queen a threat here? No. But I guess he also wanted to create an escape square for his knight that he would never use. Me, I'd probably have played bishop there and get ready to castle, right? We notice he never got to castle. You got a castle. Well, if you can. And now he just carries on annoying me, right? So the knight runs away. This pawn's going to come to here, and this knight is going to look stupid for the rest of the game. Okay, rook comes there, push the pawn, stupid knight. Rook comes in for no reason whatsoever. Why did my opponent make that move? He's just got a discovered attack on my rook. Oh no, my rook. Oh no, your knight. Oh no, your rook. Huh. And back comes the bishop. Never be afraid to put it in reverse. Okay, takes, bishop takes. It's important to assess all your options. Now the knight retreats for no good reason whatsoever that I can figure out. And when bishop comes out, we have this. I get excited and play that. He comes to here, and I have to spend 2.5 minutes figuring out that it isn't worth taking the rook, because I'll probably just lose my own. So I do the sensible thing. Push a pawn. Knight comes back out again. Hang on, didn't you just leave that square? Hit the queen. Oh no, my knight. Alright guys, we chill, we take stock. It's not the end of the world. We've got 10 minutes on the clock, he's got less than 6, right? Come back, hit the queen one more time. Now we've got a plan. We spot something undefended as a natural consequence of the disappearance of the rook. He plays that. Maybe he's thinking about castling. I take that, hit the knight. He decides to throw some kind of counterattack into the mix. And now instead of taking the knight, I want to take advantage of the fact that he's down to just over 1.5 minutes. And yeah, I had a couple of ideas here. I didn't really want to put my queen there because we could have just ended up with a trade of queens, right? Still a winning position, but bishop there is good. He's got 3 moves. There. Knight takes is not the best idea. He really should have, yeah, I guess gone to here, bishop, there even, you know, just get the king safe if you can. But knight takes and then checkmate. There you go. And this is a nice mate. It's like a dovetail mate, but even his backward square, his reverse square is gone. So nice little finish in the end. And I have been playing some really attacking games this evening. So yeah, I hope that was useful for you guys. just a little jaunt around France. I'm still playing the French. I mean, I know the French better than any other response to e4 right now. Particularly in like 10-minute games, I feel like I get the first few moves out quite quickly because I've been studying it. And we do get fun games. So right now I'm going to stick with it. Thank you very much. It'll suit me. Okay, so thank you for your time. Hopefully I'll be able to get another video done tomorrow, and I'll see you very soon.